Councilor President Williams cannot make it today, so I will be standing in as the acting president, as the vice president of the city council, and will be running the meeting. And so the time is now 7 o'clock on July 19, 2021, and we will now call to order the regular meeting of the Springfield City Council. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilor Edwards? Absent. Councilor Letterman? Absent. Councilor Gomez?
Present.
Present. Councilor Allen? Absent. Councilor Curran?
Present.
Present. Councilor Whitfield?
Present.
Present. Councilor Ramos?
Present.
Present. Councilor Brown? Absent. Councilor Walsh? Absent. Councilor Davila?
Present.
Present. Councilor Fenton? Absent. Councilor Hurst? Absent. Councilor Williams? Absent.
Councilor Letterman has joined us and Councilor Edwards has joined us. Can you please recall their names?
Councilor Edwards?
Present.
Councilor Letterman?
Present.
Present.
How many councilors does that give us, Madam Clerk?
7.
I know others are joining, so I'm gonna give Brendan the opportunity from Focus Springfield to identify folks that are here with phone numbers or not their full names. Brendan?
Thank you so much. So the first one I see joining us is a phone number that ends with 0061. If you could please identify yourself, sir or madam.
Yep, it's Mike Vitavelli from Eversource Energy, Community Relations Manager.
And how do you spell your last name, Mike?
Sure, it's V as in Victor, E, D as in dog, O, V as in Victor, E, L-L-I.
Perfect. Thank you so much. The next phone number we have is one that ends in 0629.
Hi, it's Bob McCarroll from the Community Preservation Committee.
Oh, hey Bob, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Living the dream, one day at a time.
All right. Well, happy summer.
To you as well. I have someone who has joined with the initials WEM.
That's Bill Mahoney.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Bill. And then I believe there's D Wells who has joined us.
Yes. Deputy Wells, Fire Department. I oversee City 911.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And then while I was scrolling down to find you, I actually caught another one. We have DELVALLI. Oh, LLEI. I'm sorry.
That's Ingrid Del Valle with the Springfield Public Schools.
Perfect. Thank you, Ingrid. Oh, and then one more final one. We have a Santo MJ.
Hi, this is Mike Santos from Eversource Electric.
Perfect. And
Thank you,
that is
Brendan.
everyone. Thank you.
We definitely appreciate you capturing that information for us. Madam Clerk, can you recall all the counselors that were absent because a lot of them are now here?
Counselor Brown,
Present.
present. Counselor Walsh,
Present.
present. Counselor Hurst,
Present.
present.
Was that it?
And Counselor Fenton,
Present.
present.
All right, has all the counselors been recognized?
Yes, Counselor Allen will be absent, as will Counselor Williams.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, will all the counselors and any guests please rise for a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Clerk, I don't know if Counselor Allen is absent, but he usually logs in under Susan. Can you just check that?
Oh. Counselor Allen,
All right, maybe not.
no, I think I see him. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Yeah, present.
Present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before we get started, I would briefly like to remind the city councilors of rule number 10, the rights and duties of the member of the council. And specifically, I wanted to address rule number 10B, speaking on an issue. And what it says is no member shall speak more than 3 times on the same question or more than once until others choosing to speak shall have spoken, or more than 2 minutes at a time without obtaining the president's leave. So I just wanted to remind councilors that that's a rule that we put in place, no more than 3 questions on the same topic, 2 minutes per time. And we want to give everybody at least 1 chance to speak before asking an additional question. And so I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the council. And then we'll move forward. Is there any reports of committee? We will take all the reports, we will hear them all first, and then we will vote on them as one voting item. Councilor Letterman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have 3 reports of committee for the body tonight. The first is the reports of committee for the COVID-19 Response Committee, which has met twice since our last regular meeting. The committee continues to meet bi-weekly to discuss the municipal COVID-19 response and recovery. Folks may be aware, from both attending meetings over the last several weeks and from news reports that we are seeing COVID cases in the city begin to rise again, although they remain far below the levels that we were seeing previously, and hospitalizations still remain very low. We see about 5 hospitalizations currently at Bay State. The vaccination efforts continue. On behalf of the city, folks can continue to sign up online. One of the things that the health commissioner has brought forward to the committee is that there's going to be an increased focus on pop-up vaccination sites at different sites throughout the city, and definitely encouraging counselors to reach out to the commissioner with your thoughts on particular high traffic areas to host pop-up sites. Of course, pop-up sites can be beneficial both in the fact that they can be an area to get vaccinated, but also an opportunity to do community education. Also, folks may be aware there's a number of vaccination clinics that have been held and are now continued to be scheduled through Pride stores as an example of that. So the COVID-19 Response Committee will meet again tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. The Committee on Health and Human Services met on July 7th. We were joined by Justin Shellman, who is the coordinator for opioid outreach for the city of Springfield under Commissioner Helen Colton Harris. We were also joined by Councilor Allen, Councilor Kermit, Councilor Curran, and Councilor Gomez. Madam Chair, I think you may have also been in that meeting as well. So Councilor Whitfield was with us as well. And this meeting was to discuss our re-implementation of a rapid response to non-fatal overdoses. In other words, the City of Springfield Health Department working together with emergency services and the police department to respond to individuals who are residents of the city who may overdose, hopefully in a non-fatal way, and be able to then be followed up with by a community health worker who can provide them with resources and hopefully be able to shepherd them towards recovery. This is a program that we briefly had in place before. We'd like to see it come back. And Justin, along with Sergeant Elliott, have been doing an excellent job bringing this back online. They expect to be seeing some data sharing information, get an articulation agreement with the law department to make sure that information can be shared appropriately and not violate any HIPAA laws, respect our residents' privacy while still being able to give them that information. So we'll have a follow-up meeting on that in August and very much hope to see the program be full-blown again very, very shortly. And then just the final committee report is for the Sustainability and Environment Committee, which met on July 14th to receive an overview of the Climate Action and Resilience Plan. This was a joint meeting with Councilor Walsh and the Maintenance and Development Committee. We were joined by Councilor Walsh, by Councilor Whitfield as well. And then presenting was Catherine Rattay from the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, Pat Sullivan from the Parks Department, of course, Director of Parks, Building and Recreation, and Gerard Kiernan, who is the Sustainability Coordinator for the City of Springfield. And what the committee learned through this committee meeting was that 81% of the actions recommended by the Springfield Climate Action and Resilience Plan, which was adopted in 2017, have been acted upon. These have resulted in a 30% reduction in municipal energy use, which in turn has resulted in a $3.1 million savings for the taxpayer. So this is excellent news. Next steps in the plan include updating the greenhouse gas emissions inventory and updating our goal for emission reduction to be in line with more recent state goals. And I would just give I think a special recognition to this body, which actually was the first body to call for a climate action plan in Springfield through a resolution introduced in 2014. So, excellent news and excellent work by the Sustainability Coordinator and all of our municipal department heads, as well as the Planning Commission. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Letterman. Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Madam President. So nice to say that, Madam President. And I'd just like to follow up with what Councilor Letterman said. I want to just say how impressed I was with the committee meeting with Maintenance and Development and on the plan, on the resilience, on the sustainability, on the climate change. It was a very impressive body of work, tremendous work by Catherine Rattay from the Pioneer Valley Project, and Pat Sullivan's been on top of a lot of these energy issues for years. But I think the city should be very proud of the work that's being done in this area, because we're making great progress, wonderful grants. And as they said, 81%, that's pretty good goal to have anybody to finish up 80% of a project, particularly now. But I hope we have further meetings. Pat did mention several issues, including one that I don't know everybody's aware of, but I'd like to mention it. We talked about a tree planting program, Accept a Tree, and that the residents of the Springfield can access this. And I think anybody interested in learning more about getting a tree should contact the Park Department. But there are wonderful things going on in the city, and not everybody knows about them. So I think we need to continue these type of meetings. And again, Pat and Catherine did a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Is there any reports of committee? There's a finance report, and I'm going to ask if Councilor Ramos.
Thank you, Madam President. I apologize for the delay. I was trying to figure out how to raise my hand on the phone, but I have two committee reports to report to the full council. The Public Safety Subcommittee has met twice since our last meeting, and so I'd like to report on both of those. The first one was on July 8th, Thursday, July 8th. We met with Commissioner Claproot and Attorney Pakula to discuss the 4 recommendations that were made by the Springfield City Council in terms of the 4 recommended changes to the use of force policy, as well as the 4 recommended changes that were made by the Department of Justice following their review. And it was a very productive conversation. I'm happy to report that there was some progress made. In going through the 4 recommendations that the City Council made to the use of force policy, we found that the police department and the administration has fully implemented the first 2 recommendations, which are the first one was to have a clear and unequivocal ban on chokeholds. That has since been implemented, and that change has been made to the use of force policy. The second recommended change was for there to be for de-escalation to be the first option under all 5 levels of force. And I'm happy to report that the Springfield Police Department has fully implemented this as well. And de-escalation is mentioned as a first option under all 5 levels of force. In fact, all officers are under the use of force policy are required to use de-escalation as their first option when feasible. The third recommendation is almost fully implemented. The third one was for SPD to create a tracking system for citizens' complaints, and also for those complaints to be added into the system to be retroactive in order to identify problematic officers. This is on its way to being fully implemented, and I am fairly confident that this will happen shortly. The fourth one is also on its way to being fully implemented. Part of it has been implemented, but there's one other part that needs to be implemented. This is the citizens complaint form. We recommended that the complaints be accepted by phone and online, and that the person submitting the complaint be regularly updated as to the possibility and the process in which those complaints are investigated. And that one again is on its way to being fully implemented. So it was a very positive conversation that we had with the commissioner. I'm encouraged with the changes that have been made so far, and fairly confident that all 4 recommendations will be fully implemented before the end of this year. The second part of that meeting, we were going to be discussing the recommendations of the DOJ. However, under the advice of legal counsel, we were told that it would be better for us to discuss that in executive session. And so I have made a request of our council president to schedule an executive session so that we can have that conversation. It was also indicated that they are in the process of negotiating a settlement with the Department of Justice, and some of the recommendations that they made and the full implementation of the last 2 recommendations that I just mentioned will require funding. And so it will also, because it will require funding, it will also require city council approval. And so that will be a discussion that we can have in executive session, and I look forward to having that conversation within the next couple of weeks, depending on everyone's availability. The second Public Safety Committee, Madam President, was on July 12th, and the item on the agenda was the discussion of the gas station ordinance. It's an ordinance that would prohibit gas stations from selling gasoline to gas station owners. Our staff sent out notifications to every single gas station owner in the city of Springfield, and we only had one owner attend, unfortunately, our meeting. And so, but we did have a good discussion with the one owner, and there were some concerns that were brought up that we will continue to discuss, and we'll continue to discuss it at a future meeting. And I will also be reaching out to other communities in order to get a full picture of what this will mean for the city of Springfield. But that's my report for now. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Ramos, and thank you for following up, and thank you for holding folks accountable. So I just want to say that. Are there any other reports of committee?
Yeah, I'd like to give a finance committee report.
Thank you, Councilor Allen.
Thank you. I am Tim Allen. I'm on the finance committee, but council president for tonight, vice president and running the meeting tonight, Councilor Whitfield, asked me to give the report, and since she's running the whole meeting tonight. So we met, the finance committee met for about an hour at 5:30 today. And there's a robust agenda of things in front of the finance committee. Everything was approved by the finance committee, which is Councilor Davila, Councilor Whitfield, and myself, except for item 23, which was the item granting a permanent utility easement to NSTAR at 415 Main, NSTAR/Eversource at 415 Main Street. The other items were approved. That one would need more discussion. There are a couple contracts before us tonight. There are a million grants, some big grants and some smaller ones. The first meeting of the fiscal year, so there was, there were a few grants that came up that, for their annual approval process, et cetera. In the meeting were Councilor Whitfield, Councilor Davila, and Councilor Gomez, I believe. I think, not sure who else got on. I was participating by Zoom, driving my car, so I didn't know everyone who was on. So if I missed you, I'm sorry about that. But it was a good discussion, good answers. One of the questions was about the SSYI grant, which is I can't remember, it's Youth Initiative Grant having to do with violence prevention, and the connectivity of that to Shannon and to the racial equity program was something that was discussed. We did approve the grant increase. So that's the report. Everything but 23 was approved. There's a lot of stuff on there. So a good start to the year. That's my report. Councilor Whitfield.
Thank you so much, Councilor Allen. Just want to recognize Councilor Hurst, Councilor Letterman, Councilor Gomez, Councilor Walsh for also, I think Councilor Walsh for also attending the Finance Committee meeting. Just wanted to recognize those guys, and if we missed anybody, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so I think, are there any more reports of committee? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on accepting the reports of committee?
Accepting the reports of committee, Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Gomez?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila? Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Williams absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So on the agenda, we have items 1 through 6, which are similar in nature. And without objection, we will hear about each petition individually. And if none goes to committee, then we will take all these items up in one vote. Madam Clerk, could you please call the next item on the agenda? First item on the agenda.
The first item is Comcast Liberty Street petition.
Good evening,
Is there anyone
councilors.
here?
Chris Signoli, DPW Director.
Name and address for the
President is
record.
Excuse me?
Name and address for the record, please.
Chris Signoli, 89 Bennington Street, Springfield. Madam President, for the record, the DPW will be addressing items 1 through 4 and 6. Item number 5 will be addressed by the Planning Department. So item number 1 is the installation of about 340 feet of conduit in Liberty Street in 2 new vaults to increase service in the area. That is Comcast. You want to proceed into the others?
I just want to make sure councilors don't have any questions on each one. Chris, thank you. Any questions on item 1, Comcast? Seeing none. Chris?
Thank you, councilors. Item number 2 Verizon installation on Liberty Street, Lower Liberty Street near Main Street is the installation of 65 feet of PVC connecting one vault to another vault system in Lower Liberty Street.
Any questions from counselors? Seeing none, you got the floor.
Counselors, thank you. Item 3, installation of 100 feet of 2-inch gas service pipe to new homes being built on Wilmington Avenue, which is in the Pine Point area, Olney Street, Bissell Street area of the city.
Any questions from counselors? Counselor Ramos?
Chris, is this paved or unpaved road?
Wilmington is paved at that section.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Ramos. Any other questions? Thank you. Chris, proceed, please.
Item number 4 is the installation of a 2-inch gas service on West York Street. And this service will be to provide gas service to the new pump station that is under construction right now for the Springfield Water Sewer Commission.
Any questions from counselors? All right, and I guess this is your final one you will speak to, Chris, number 6.
Yeah, item number 6 had been on the agenda a few months back, was tabled, and there was a subcommittee meeting a few weeks ago. This is the from Columbia, actually from Eversource Gas, the installation of excuse me, new regulator stations or modified regulation stations, 31 locations around the city. Councilor Walsh, I don't know if you wanted to add anything with regard to your subcommittee meeting that was held.
Myself. No, I believe that we covered it at the subcommittee meeting, and the items were approved.
And if there is any questions on it, we do have representatives from Eversource Gas.
Councilor Letterman?
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to thank Eversource for their follow-up on all of the requests out of the Maintenance and Development Committee meeting that did come. They sent a very detailed plan following that meeting that included photographs of each individual location. And in reviewing that, my biggest concern was these being sort of out of sight, and also any of them that would really infringe with people's sort of active properties. But in reviewing that, it appeared that the vast majority of these were either in sort of public areas or sort of behind properties. And so the only ask I would have as they move forward is just in the event that it is, directly, within proximity to private property, that every effort be made to work with the homeowner, make sure they understand what's going on. And as for the plantings, I know they've committed to many plantings around these, which is great for the public side. But again, if it's going to be with the homeowner, just checking with them to make sure what they would like in terms of that aesthetic. But otherwise, it sounds like it's important to improve safety, so I'm prepared to support it.
Thank you, Councilor Letterman. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll move back up to item number 5. Madam Clerk, can you please call that item?
Item number 5 is 367 Hancock Street and the creation of a new local historic district.
Hi, good evening, Council. My name is Alvin. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Name and address for the record. You know the routine, Alvin.
29 Lively Lane, Springfield, Mass. Again, my name is Alvin Allen. I'm a senior planner in the Office of Planning and Economic Development. This item is on the agenda for first step. There will also need to be a second and third step, so a subsequent meeting. The Springfield Historical Commission has voted to send this matter to the City Council. They voted on, I want to say, June 17th to send this matter to City Council. So therefore, it's on the agenda for the creation of a new local historic district at 367 Hancock Street. The property owner is on the call, or a representative of Home City Development. So they can speak to sort of the history of the property and why they're creating the district.
Good evening. This is Peter Serafino. I'm the Director of Real Estate Development for Home City Development, 261 Oak Grove Avenue in Springfield. This is the former Elias Brookings School that Home City was fortunate enough to purchase from the city of Springfield back in 2018. And in earlier this year, in March, we started construction to rehabilitate the building into 42 affordable rental apartments. Part of the financing package for that redevelopment was a generous contribution from the Community Preservation Committee that was also approved by the City Council. And one of the conditions in that approval of funds was for creation of a local historic district. And so therefore, this proposal in front of you today, we're also using state and federal historic tax credits. And we've also taken the first step towards nominating the property to be on the National Register of Historic District, National Register of Historic Places, I'm sorry. We're about 25% complete construction, and we expect to be complete and have folks living in the building by March, April of next year. And we believe it'll be a great historic and a residential asset to the city.
Thank you very much, Peter. Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Madam President. And I am always happy to support the initiative at Brookings. Not only is Brookings a great structure, but the foundation that they gave to all the students that went through there. And I always support it because 3 of my children attended Brookings School, and they still talk about the wonderful teachers and education that they got there. So I'm very happy to see positive things happening at Brookings. And I know we had recently attended was it a groundbreaking or an event at Brookings, and you have tremendous support in the community. And I hope your project will be very, very successful.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Curran.
Just quickly, how much did you purchase that building from the city for? Just curious.
The exact number evades me, but it was probably around $250,000, $220,000, $250,000, somewhere in that range, I would believe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Curran. Is there any other questions or comments? Before we move forward with the vote, there is a SDF listed on here. Can you just identify yourself? S is in Sam, D is in David, F is in Frank. Did you just update your name? Oh no.
I could do it as well if
I
they
think
speak up
that's
quickly.
Sandy Federico.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right.
Madam President.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just a point of information when we're doing the roll. I mean, in your role as council president, I believe you're supposed to be the last vote.
Okay. Did you notate that, Madam Clerk?
Yes. I did not have a email address for Gladys, so I'm passing it on to you.
Very much appreciated. New to the role. Thank you, Councilor Walsh. I muted myself. We'll move forward with the agenda, and we will have a roll call vote on the 6 items that were presented.
On approving items 1 through 6, Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Gomez?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Kern?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Williams absent. Councilor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes.
I keep muting myself. With the grants 7 through 18, without objection, we will handle like we handled 1 through 6. And so we will hear on each one of them individually, ask our questions, and we will vote on them as a collective. Madam Clerk, can you please call the next item on the agenda?
Item number 7 is a grant for the state 911 support and incentive. It's a no match grant in the amount of $992,816.
Is there anyone here to speak to the grant?
Madam President, Deputy Wells here, Fire Department. I can speak on this grant along with my Deputy Director, Rebecca, that's on.
Name and address for the record, please, Deputy Wells.
David Wells, 93 Northway Drive, Springfield.
Thank you.
And my Deputy Director, Rebecca, your address?
Rebecca Ocasio, 22 Lindsay Road in Springfield.
Thank you.
Madam President and members of the council, this is a support incentive grant for $9,902 and almost $1 million. Basically, it's used to offset the payroll of the dispatchers for 911. It's based on call volume and size of our city. Outside the city of Boston, we are the second busiest call volume center in the state. So this is a no match grant from the state 911.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the next item on the agenda.
Item number 8 is the Mass Gaming Commission grant contract amendment for $821,169.
Is there anyone here to speak to this item?
Yes, Madam Counselor, Deputy Chief Kent, 559 Nassau Drive. This is the fiscal year 22 grant by the Gaming Commission to cover the costs of the officers that are assigned on a full-time basis to the casino. We have seven officers in total, 1 lieutenant, 6 patrolmen. That's by contract with the Gaming Commission. And this money will cover their salaries and fringe benefits, their education incentive, if they receive one, their overtime, and their uniform, clothing, and equipment expenses.
Any questions from council? Thank you, Deputy Kent.
You're welcome.
Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Item number 9 is the SSYI grant, which is a no match grant in the amount of $662,346.
Anyone here to speak to the grant?
Deputy Chief Kent, once again, 559 Nassau Drive. This is the Safe and Successful Youth Initiative. The amount is more than it was last year by about $300,000. Excuse me, by about $662,000. The total grant is $3,992,346. This grant is a grant that targets outreach and prevention programs for young persons in the age group 17 to 24 who are likely to commit or become victims of gang and gun violence. The police department plays a minor role in that. In the funding portion that the police department receives is very minor. The majority of the funding goes to the primary partner, which is ROCA. There are other partners in this grant. There's a clinical support component. The Regional Employment Board is also included, along with the Hampshire County Sheriff's Department and the Bay State Medical Center.
Thank you, Deputy Kent. Any questions from council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the next item on the agenda.
Item number 10 is a EEA Green City Tree Grant. It's no match grant in the amount of $230,000.
Anyone here to speak to the item?
Yes, Alex Sherman, 78 Wexford Street, Springfield, City Forester. I'm here instead of Patrick Sullivan, representing the Park Department on behalf of this grant. This grant represents a 2-year extension of an existing Greening the Gateway Cities tree planting program, which I believe Councilor Walsh maybe was mentioning earlier, her comments. So thank you for bringing that up. So it includes 2-year extension for the grant, as well as an additional funding of $230,000 over those 2 years, bringing the total grant award to $1.79 million over the life of the grant.
Thank you very much, Alex. Any questions from the council? Councilor Walsh.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Alex. Can you simplify for people? I know we talked quite a bit about it at the joint meeting, how residents can opt into this program with accepting the trees. I know that's a huge priority in the park department. Glad to see you handling it.
Yeah, so this grant focuses on an 800-acre area, which includes McKnight, Upper Hill, and Old Hill neighborhoods. And what it does is it provides free trees to be planted on people's private property who live in those neighborhoods. So we come, meet with the homeowners, site appropriate trees, and then coordinate the tree planting for them at no cost. And the goal of the program, speaking to Springfield Resiliency, as we were earlier, is to promote energy efficiency through shading and reduction of the urban heat island effect in these neighborhoods through the shading of the trees. So it's a very exciting grant. We were happy that the state was interested in extending our time for 2 years and adding additional funds.
But what do people have to do to get you to bring the tree to their house?
Oh, so we use the 311 call center as our main contact point. So any resident can call 311, inquire about the Greening the Gateway Cities program, and that will connect them with our project coordinator, who will then contact them and set up the site meeting. So if there's any counselor who represents those wards or knows folks that live in those neighborhoods, please, reach out and let them know this program exists, and they can get some free trees on their property. We also, working on an extensive marketing campaign, and we've done mailers and door hangers, and we're continuing to try to get the word out as much as we can. So any other help we can get from counselors would be much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Letterman.
Thank you, Madam President. Alex, you guys are doing a great job. I just had one question on the extension. I know Glenn had mentioned the possibility of possibly getting some approval from the state to expand out, maybe either to Bay or to Six Corners. I know you get into kind of Six Corners and Old Hill, there's still, some impact from the tornado and the trees that were lost. So did we get that approval, or are we still seeking that in the future?
Yeah, so we're still seeking the extension of the zone. The state really is focused on saturating the initial zone. I mean, the key to this program is increasing the overall urban forest canopy in this 800 acres, and it's very difficult to increase urban tree canopy. It takes a lot of trees in a concentrated area, so that is why they really want to focus on a small area. But we have started the discussion with the state about extending the zone in the future, and maybe starting with a satellite extension, possibly to a housing authority property off Bay Street, and kind of starting there. And then as we saturate the current zone and the interest is waning, or we've planted out most of the available locations, we're going to continue to press the state to allow us to increase the zone and hopefully do another complete round of another 2,400 trees and another 800 acres, and really just double the whole project. That's my ultimate goal, but right now we're trying to saturate the existing zone, and we're working with them on the area extensions.
Yeah, that makes sense. I certainly wouldn't want to see it at the expense of the current zone, but if possible to increase the total allotment, we'd certainly be supportive of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Letterman. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the next item?
Item number 11 is the state 911 training grant. It's a no match grant in the amount of $214,177.06.
Madam President, Deputy Wells again. I'm going to refer to my Deputy Director to explain this grant. And she has a little more knowledge on it than I do. Once again, my address is 93 Northway Drive, Springfield. Rebecca, do you mind?
Sure.
Of course not. Rebecca Ocasio, 22 Lindsay Road in Springfield. So the State 911 Training Grant is a no-match grant provided by the State 911 Department. It comes from the surcharges through 911 through your phone bill. It's a combination of the cost of the class along with the overtime rate that's allowable to send people to the classes, up to 32 hours of training per telecommunicator. And when you work out those calculations, it comes to the $214,000.
Thank you, Rebecca. Any questions from council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the next item on the agenda.
Item number 12 is a DPW Complete Streets Tier 3 Construction Program grant in the amount of $192,500.
Good evening, councilors. Chris Signoli, DPW Director, 89 Bennington Street, Springfield. This is the third award that the city of Springfield has received from Mass DOT under our Complete Streets program. The $192,000 will be used for two specific projects selected by the state. Number one, improvements for pedestrian and bicyclists along Trafton Road by Forest Park, and along Tapley Street and Bay Street in Springfield, both for pedestrian improvements, sidewalk enhancements, and bike lanes in those areas as well.
Thank you, Chris. Councilor Ramos.
Thank you, Madam President. Chris, can you remind us what the process is for prioritizing, which projects the city submits for Complete Streets projects?
Yes, we have a Complete Streets plan that probably has 75 to 80 projects throughout the city. Every year we can submit up to $400,000 to the state on various projects. This is probably the last selection we're going to receive under our original submission to the state. We are submitting a brand new prioritization plan in the next month or two. So we identify 6 or 7 projects that total up 400,000, and they select the ones that they would like to fund.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. Now, you and I have discussed the situation over at Page Boulevard for many, many years. There's a dangerous stretch of road from the corner of Bircham and Page Boulevard all the way down to Berkshire and Page. And we've discussed the possibility of including that stretch of road in Complete Streets project. We can even go as far as including the actual intersection of Berkshire Avenue and Page Boulevard to improve the traffic light issue there, because there is no crosswalk. There's no crossing button there for people to cross, and it's 2 blocks away from JFK Middle School. But in terms of the Complete Streets project itself, Complete Streets, the idea behind it is that streets are not just for cars. Streets, it can also be used for bicycles, and that it can be made safe for pedestrian travel. So it covers the cost of bicycle lanes and crosswalks and sidewalks. And as you know, there are no sidewalks on that stretch of road, which is very dangerous because there are a lot of cars that are speeding. People have been killed there, and many people have been hit. And so I'm just wondering why haven't we prioritized that stretch of road, and if we are planning to prioritize it in the next round?
Yeah, as far as locations like that, we have not included them in the prioritization plan that we've done with the state, for the simple reason is that that are less than, individually have to be less than $200,000. In total, the application that we make to the state has to be less than $400,000. So the projects that the state is looking for us to do is to do connections between existing areas where we have bike lanes or have installed them recently and done improvements for pedestrians. In an area like that, that would fall under a most likely would be a major project that we would do through Mass DOT at a much larger scale. If we were to do work in that area, Counselor, we're probably looking at $1.5 million or so dollars. So once we, for the Page Boulevard Bircham area, once that traffic study is complete there and a determination is made as to what we're doing, then it would be turned into a bigger project at the state level. What I don't want to do is get little pieces of money that doesn't really get us anything, and then we end up having to throw it away when we do a major project.
Okay. I can understand that. I was going to ask whether or not we can piece it out. If we can do a sidewalk project, for example, in the next round, and then leave the rest for either a later round or as part of a bigger project. But it sounds like you're thinking that we're going to make it all of it into one big project.
Yeah, I would make the thing into one big project and get it funded all at once.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Ramos. Any other questions or comments from council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Item number 13 is the Springfield Library Foundation Trust and Endowments Grants. It's no match grant for $180,000.
Anyone here to speak to this item?
Good evening. I'm Jean Canosa Albano, Deputy Director at the City Library. My address is 111 West Crystal Brook Drive. And this item is coming to us from the Springfield Library Foundation. And it is a donation drawing from a number of different trusts that the foundation manages on behalf of the library. And this would be to go towards our library materials budget. And the library materials being things like books on the shelves or the DVDs that you borrow and so forth.
Thank you, Jean. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 14 is the DPW Shared Streets and Spaces Program Grant. This is a no match required grant in the amount of $167,000.
Good evening, councilors. Chris Signoli, DPW Director, City of Springfield, 89 Bennington Street. This is the DPW's third award in less than a year from the state under their COVID program that they implemented the Shared Streets program. The first project was work that we did on St. James Avenue at the Wellesley Street intersection. The one we most recently complete was a bump out in front of on Worthington Street for outdoor dining. This grant is being used for Main Street and Indian Orchard between Oak Street and Pinevale for expansion of sidewalks, modification of parking, and bump outs for the businesses there.
Thank you, Chris. Councilor Ramos?
Thank you, Madam President. Chris, I just wanted to extend my compliments to Andy Carr on his work on these grants. Very knowledgeable in what he does, very professional. His efforts are greatly appreciated. I don't know if the council remembers this, but we were actually originally excluded for the first round of this funding. And it was through his efforts and Chris Signoli's efforts and the fact that we made noise as a council to the governor, wrote a letter actually to the governor, that decision was later reversed, and the project that was originally denied was approved, and which was the one that Chris Signoli mentioned earlier. So, I just wanted to compliment the professionalism of you and your department in getting this money to the city of Springfield.
Councilor, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm extremely happy with what Andy did. Our first application that was done was denied. The next three we pushed for heavily, and number one, the state's very happy that we have spent the money immediately, got it done, got it constructed, so they're happy to give us more money.
Fantastic. Any other questions or comments? All righty, seeing none, Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 15 is a prevention and early childhood services grant in the amount of $156,250.
Good afternoon, counselors. Helen Carlton Harris, 47 Overlook Drive in Springfield. This grant is a partnership with Square One. It is for health and wellness, but particularly we are focusing on substance use disorders and children to make sure that we have resources available for young children and are able to identify and prevent and mitigate some of the challenges that come from substance use disorders and parents.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Item number 16 is the Mason Square Library Grant. It's a no match required grant in the amount of $145,393.
Hello again. This is another donation that would be coming in from the Springfield Library Foundation. And it is, let's see, it's to cover operating expenses. It's something of a misnomer the way it's listed, because this would support operating expenses at not only the Mason Square branch, but at all library locations.
Okay, Counselor Walsh.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. And Jean, speaking of all library locations, how did the opening of the libraries, which I believe was last week, correct? How did that go? When will you be back fully?
Yes,
for hours?
thank you. Thank you. We are open at all of our branches for something of a reduced summer schedule. That happened on July 6th, the day after July 4th was observed. And it's starting slow, but it's building. There was a large event held at East Forest Park branch today to celebrate Summer Reading Club, which is for all ages, by the way. And then the Central Library will reopen on the Tuesday after Labor Day is observed. I want to say that's September 7th. And on that day, all locations will be open for the full, their full schedule that we were open prior to the pandemic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Walsh. Any other questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Item number 17 is Tobacco Control Grant Program. It's a no match required grant in the amount of $140,000.
Thank you, counselors. Helen Carlton Harris, 47 Overlook Drive, Springfield, Mass. This is our annual grant that we get for our tobacco control program. As you know, we have individuals who go into stores to make sure that they are compliant and not selling tobacco products to underage participants.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any questions, comments from the council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, I think the final agenda item for this section.
Item number 18 is a local consumer aid grant. It's a no match required grant in the amount of $112,727.
Good evening. Hi, it's Milagros Johnson. I'm 46 Rachel in Westfield. This is a local consumer program grant funded by the Attorney General, and it's for consumer education and consumer advocacy for residents of Hampden County and parts of Worcester County. It's a slight increase from last year and the previous years as well. Our focus this year for fiscal year 2022 is for financial literacy throughout the area that we serve, and also to continue to target the senior centers and as many seniors as possible regarding the uptick in consumer scams for targeting the seniors.
Thank you, Milagros.
You're welcome.
Any questions from counselors? Seeing none, we will now vote on items 7 through 18. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
On approving items 7 through 18, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes, the items have passed. Thank you. Before we continue on to the next items on the agenda, I do have to make a correction to item number 5. It is an ordinance and we need a motion to take first step in amending chapter 49, I'm sorry, of the city ordinance. And so can I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. In a second. So motion made by Counselor Allen and second by Counselor Letterman? No?
Yes.
Who said?
Yep, that was us.
Okay, okay.
That was right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
On the motion, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes. The motion has been approved and the item will be sent to, I think, general government. Thank you. So we will go back down to items 19 through 27. And without objection, because they're under the $50 threshold, we can go ahead and vote on these items in one vote.
I think it's 19 through 28.
No, 28 is 200,000, so I was gonna take that one separately. Oh, that's $200.
Oh,
Yeah,
$200.
you're right. I seen that wrong. Thank you. We're gonna go all the way through it then. Items.
I wish.
I know.
Madam President.
I know. But we're gonna go all the way through 28. We're gonna go through where we can. So items 19 through 28. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
About 18.
We did 18, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
At
We did
18.
So it's 19 through 28 that's under the 50,000 threshold.
Oh, so it's 18.
Madam Clerk?
On items 19 through 28, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila. Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes.
Muted myself. The items have been approved. Madam Clerk, will you please call the next item on the agenda?
The next item on the agenda is a collective bargaining agreement ratification.
Anyone here to speak to this item? Name and
Evening,
address for the
councilors.
record.
Bill Mahoney, Director of HR and Labor Relations, 144 Parker Lane in Ludlow. The first contract, I believe, is Local 3065 of Ask Me, which are the foremen.
I'm sorry, Bill, it's actually in reverse order on here, so it's 1596A.
All right. I just got to grab another legal pad, that's all. There's about 51 members of this bargaining unit. It is the 1596A of Ask Me, which is the library supervisors. And we've done 2 contracts. One is for 1 year and the other one is for 3 years. The wage increases are 2% for each year. The previous contract expired on June 30th, 2020. About 51 people in the bargaining unit. We clarified a number of items in there and just brought it up to date and consistent with some of the Massachusetts laws and with the Supreme Court decision. Added in a substitute staffing agreement, or I should say a memorandum of understanding, and then upgraded the borrower servicer, the supervisor of borrower services and children's services supervisor to grade 9.5 from grade 8. The union has ratified this contract as of June 11th, 2021.
Thank you, Bill. And I just do want to mention to counselors that Lindsay did send us the amounts that we would have to pay in back pay for both of these contracts because of Counselor Davila's request. So she did email us that information. Counselor Letterman.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to thank the HR department as well as the union representation for their work to bring the contract forward, and wanted to express my appreciation to the library employees for all that they did during COVID as well. I mean, they really stepped up to really, essentially kind of become call centers to be able to help get folks registered for vaccination and provide information on testing. So, really beyond what they normally do, great service to the community in and of itself. They've continued to show that libraries in Springfield are more than just a place you go to get books. And so definitely plan to support this tonight. And I was actually a member of the Springfield Library Employees Association, which is the union under the supervisors, back when Gene Canosa-Albano gave me my first job stacking books at the Mason Square Library. So proud of them and glad to support them this evening.
Nice history, Counselor Letterman. Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
On accepting the order, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes.
The order has been approved. Please call the next item on the agenda, Madam Clerk.
Item number 30 is collective bargaining agreement ratification for Local 3065.
Good evening, counselors. Again, Bill Mahoney. This time I have the other contract. This was the Foreman's Union, and they represent employees at DPW and Parks. There are approximately 34 members in the bargaining unit. Similar to the contract I just discussed, it's a 1-year contract followed by a 3-year contract. The previous contract expired on June 30th, 2020. So this will take us through June 30th of 2024. Same increases, 2% each year for the 4 years, for each of the 4 years. Again, we addressed issues that came down as a result of a Supreme Court decision and of a change in Massachusetts law with respect to parental leave. The union ratified this contract on June 3rd, and we'd ask that the council also ratify it tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mahoney. Any questions or comments from the council? Counselor Letterman?
Not to belabor the agenda, Madam President, but I think we'd be remiss if we didn't also thank these individuals for their work during COVID as well. In DPW, Parks, there were some of the organizations that they weren't working from home and didn't have that luxury. So appreciate them, and I know we all plan to support this as well.
Yes, we do. We do. Thank you, Counselor Letterman, for recognizing them. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On approving the item, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown. Absent Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams. Absent Counselor Whitfield.
Yes. The order has been approved. Please call the next item on the agenda, Madam Clerk.
The next item is the Community Preservation Committee FY22 budget. It's an increase in reserves.
Anyone here to speak to this item?
Yes, Bob McCarroll. I'm the chair of the Community Preservation Committee on 96 Elliott Street in Springfield.
Thank you, Bob.
This is my annual appearance before the council to increase the reserves. As you know, with Community Preservation Act, we are required to set aside 10% every year for community housing, 10% for historic resources, and 10% for open space and recreational uses. At the beginning of the year, we do a budget. And in fact, you approved the fiscal 22 budget for CPA just last month. But what happens at the end of the year, the Department of Revenue requires that if we take in more money than we thought we would take in at the beginning of the budget, we need to put more money in the reserves. So the good news is that fiscal 21 that just closed, we took in about $460,000 more than we had thought we would get when we crafted the budget. Now, part of that is due because of DOR told all of the CPA communities to use a very conservative percentage on the state share because DOR wasn't sure what the COVID shutdown would have as an effect on real estate transactions. And actually, it had very little effect on it. So when we got our annual state share last November, it was nearly 3 times the amount that DOR instructed us to do. So I'm back before you because we need to now put approximately, and you have the orders before you, approximately $46,000 in each of the accounts to have them more closely reflect the amount of money that came in the fiscal year that just closed.
Thank you, Bob. Any questions from the council? Tim, are you raising your hand or?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approving the budget increase for CPA.
And approving the order, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams. Absent Counselor Whitfield.
Yes, the item has been approved. Madam Clerk, please call the next item on the agenda.
The next item on the agenda is order granting permanent utility easement to NSTAR Eversource at 415 Main Street.
Robert Zuchuk, Associate City Solicitor, 365 Tiffany Street. May I just ask that the title be amended to say 415 State Street, which is where the easement is going to be. That is at Commerce High School. The school department or school committee already reviewed the easement plan and they approved it. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you amend that? At the appropriate time?
Yes.
It's 415.
State Street.
Or can she amend it? Attorney Davis?
Yes, Counselor.
You have to make a motion to amend the address from 415 Main Street to 415 State Street.
Yes, Counselor.
May I please have the motion? Can we do that now?
So moved.
Yes.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. We have the motion made by Counselor Walsh, seconded by Counselor Hurst. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on the amendment?
On a motion to amend the address from 415 Main Street to 415 State Street, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown. Counselor Brown.
Yes. Yes.
Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes, motion has been approved. Discussion on the order. Did you want to add anything else,
Oh,
Attorney?
no, thank you.
So who's going to discuss this?
Hello, this is Mike Santos, project designer from Eversource Electric. 4 Chilson
Mike.
Road. Hi, how are you?
Your address, please, for the record.
4 Chilson Road, Wilbraham.
Thank you.
This easement is for the purpose of upgrading our electric service by installing 2 automated switches, 2 underground enclosures, conduit to serve 6 large customers in the area: Commerce High School, Springfield Conservatory of Art School, Federal Courthouse, Bay State High Street Healthcare Center, Classical Condos, and the Verizon office. This will provide these 6 customers with 1 preferred circuit and 1 backup circuit with automated switching capability. And, presently they have manual switching would take time to go out and swap them over in case of a fault. With this new gear, they'll see a flicker of lights and that's it.
Thank you. Mike, any questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the order granting the permanent utility easement to 415 State Street, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Counselor Ramos did say yes. Counselor Gomez did
Didn't
not.
say
Can you
yes.
please call Counselor Gomez again?
Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila. You're muted, Counselor.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, Counselor Fenton. Counselor Fenton. Absent. Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams. Absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes, the item has been approved. Madam Clerk, please call the next item on the agenda.
Item number 33 is the May revenue versus expenditure report.
Is there anyone here to speak to the item?
Thank you, Madam President. Patrick Burns, 90 Clement Street, Springfield, Mass. Tonight you have the May revenue versus expenditure report. As I mentioned in the Finance Committee meeting earlier this evening, we are projecting a $15 million surplus in the school transportation account. And this $15 million will flow to free cash. Our focus now is working with both the school department and city departments to make sure that all FY21 grant reimbursements are received by September 30th. which is the Department of Revenue deadline.
Thank you, Pat. Any questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on this item.
On approving the order, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams, absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes,
Yes.
the item has been approved. Madam Clerk, please call the next item on the agenda.
Item number 34 is an order authorizing a contract over 3 years for school department copy operations request for proposal.
Is there anyone here to speak to this item? Please state your name and address for the record.
Sorry.
That's okay.
This is Ingrid Del Valle with the school department, 81 Chauncey Drive in Springfield.
Thank you.
So the school department is just requesting to extend the next copy operations contract by an additional 9 months. This will help align the contract with the fiscal year, which will allow for easier, more efficient budgeting purposes, as well as, most importantly, allow us to remove old devices and install new devices during the summer while the students are out of the buildings.
Thank you, Ingrid. Counselor Letterman.
Thank you, Madam President. Ingrid, is this just an extension on a current contract that's already been awarded, or is this looking to advertise for bids on a new contract?
We are going out to bid for a new contract. The current contract ends in September.
So you want to go out to bid, and instead of, what was your last bid award? For how many years was it?
It was for 3 years only. So we're going out for 3 years, 9 months.
You want to advertise now for 3 years, 9 months?
Correct.
Okay. So historically, I've voted against these requests just because I think that the purpose of the procurement laws is to allow the council to inspect lengthy contracts, and so I'm gonna oppose this one as well. I recognize the spirit of it, but on most scenarios, I've opposed that because I think we should adhere to the letter of the procurement law. It's nothing against this particular contract, Ingrid. I don't know that we've ever had you before us while I've been on the council, but that's just been my position. So I'm going to stick with that consistently, but I appreciate your explanation tonight.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Letterman. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the item.
On approving the order, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
No.
No, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
No.
No, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams, absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes, the item has been approved. Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. So counselors, we are moving right along, and in the interest of continuing to do that, we have some petitioners here for zoning ordinances, and we have had extensive conversations through the hearing process on each item. And so what I'm going to ask is 5 minutes from the proponent, 5 minutes from the opponent, to give testimony on both. And Because-
Madam President, before we do that, did we vote on item 18? TJ
18?
O'Connor? I
Yes,
think we started with 19.
18 was in the 7 through 18 votes, because it was more than 50,000, so we did those all together.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the clarification, Council Walsh. And so we're gonna go ahead and get started with that portion of the agenda. So Madam Clerk, has there been any testimony received in favor? Oh, no, call the next item and then we'll move forward.
The next item is 1259 East Columbus Avenue.
All right, has there been any testament received from the proponent? In favor?
Not that I've received, no.
Okay, has there been any testimony received from the opponent?
No.
So we will give the proponent 5 minutes to speak, and then we will have questions from the council, and then we'll move on to the opponent, same 5 minutes, and continue. So is there anyone here on behalf of 1259 East Columbus Ave? Please state your name and address for the record.
Frank Colicino, 1259 East Columbus Avenue, Springfield, Mass. You can all hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. This is the, I think, second hearing that we've had on this. It's to take the empty building at the corner of East Columbus and Union Street and turn it into a Burger King with a drive-through. And it's currently it's zoned Business C, and Business C does not allow a drive-through. So we're asking for the zone to be changed from Business C to Business B, which is it was originally zoned prior to the casino coming on board. And the Burger King is going to use the existing building. They're modifying their design to fit the existing building, so the lines of the building won't change. The only thing that will change would be a brick wall in the front to basically show their sign. At this point, that's what we're proposing. We would, I think the first step has been voted on, and I think tonight is the second, and I think you may be able to vote on the third step. So that's my presentation, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the council? Okay, seeing none. Is there any, Councilor Fenton?
Thank you, Madam President. It's just a question about the other hearings, Frank, that you had before us at the last meeting. There was a drive-through for St. James and St. James, and that one's not on here. And I'm wondering why.
Yeah, I don't know what. I honestly don't know why, because that should have been on there. I think Peter Lapointe from my office spoke to Phil Dromey, and Phil didn't know why. It may have been just a mission. If we could put that on tonight's meeting, that would be great.
You're not going to make it on tonight. You're not going to make it on tonight, but maybe the next one. Okay, thank you.
So, okay.
What was the address for that one, Councilor Fenton?
It was St. James Avenue and St. James Boulevard.
Okay.
Correct.
Sorry about that, Mr. Colasino. Sorry about that oversight. Okay. Any other questions or comments from the council? All right. Seeing none, is there any testimony from the opponents? You will have 5 minutes. Okay, seeing none, we will move forward. Now we will close this hearing. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We're gonna close this hearing.
Yes,
Thank you,
Madam
Counselor.
President, close the hearing and move on to
And
council.
move on to any deliberation from the council or debate among the council. All right, seeing none. Madam Clerk, can we please call the roll for second and third step? Right?
No steps, just call.
No.
No
Oh,
steps.
you're just voting on this one? That's for the
Voting on
zone change. Okay, got it. Can we please call the roll?
Approving the zone change, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
You're doing a great job, Madam President. And yes.
Thank you.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Excuse me, yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams, absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes. This has been approved. Congratulations. Madam Clerk, can you please, do I have to do anything else with this? Help me out, team. We're all
Condition.
set?
The reasons, I have to redo the reasons, that seat one.
Thank you, Counselor Evans.
Well, ready? Just to interrupt real quick there are no reasons for a zone change. I don't need. Okay, then we're all set then.
Well, thank you anyway, because
I was ready.
Counselor Whitfield. Counselor Whitfield, I have a question. It's Attorney Davis. Was first step was already taken on this zone change, right? So this was second and third step for the zone change. So you guys have to invoke Rule 22C to take second and third steps together, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. All right, so can we have a motion to invoke Rule 22C?
Motion so made.
Thank you, Counselor Edwards. Second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, second, motion made by Counselor Edwards, second by Counselor Letterman. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
On invoking Rule 22C, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams, absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. The zone change has been approved, finally.
Right.
Thank you. Madam
you.
Clerk, yep. Did someone have something to say? Okay. Madam Clerk, can you please call the next item on the agenda?
Item number 36 is zone change to the property known as 1021 Boston Road.
Okay, have we received any testament from the proponents?
No.
Have we received any written or voice testament from the opponents?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. We will give the proponents 5 minutes to speak.
Yes, hello, Madam Councilwoman. My name is Jason Summer. I reside at 4310 Granby Way in Marietta, Georgia. And I am bringing this this proposal to rezone the property from Business A to Business B, to build a climate control self-storage facility, or mostly climate control. There's a little non-climate, but mostly climate control. This motion has been recommended by Phil and the planning board. Planning Committee, excuse me. We're supported by the Pine Point Community Council. We've presented to every neighbor we can get our hands on, and from the left to the right to the behind us, they're all in support. Some had actual recommendations and requests, and we've accommodated all of those in our site plan. The traffic flow should greatly improve, or certainly not hurt, but improve the traffic in the area because we're such a low impact use. We're going to make an aesthetically pleasing and secure and professionally managed facility. It'll be Life Storage who manages it, who has a great track record of managing things in a clean and safe way. We're going to use, as Councilman Ramos asked, we're going to use local contractors when possible. And we're going to staff our management staff from the immediate community, which I know is important to everyone, including myself. We're also going to work for a diverse and local and a local staff. So again, a staff and a construction group to build it. So we ask that you please approve the rezoning from Business A to Business B. And again, we look forward to being part of the Springfield community in a positive way.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for the proponent from the council?
I have a question.
Sure. Councilor Allen?
Thanks. It says here in the zone change that it's changing from Residence A and Business A to Business B. So is that true, or is it just from Business A to Business B? Could you clarify that?
You know, that is true. I'm sorry. I neglected to say that. The Residence A is completely engulfed in a wetland setback. So we will technically not be building anything on that parcel. That's on the southwest side. But yes, you are correct. It is a Residence A on that parcel, on one of the many parcels that make up this piece of land.
Okay. Phil, do you agree with that?
Yeah, there is a portion of this property that's zone Residence A.
And you're still, so you're approving this or recommending this?
Yeah, again, as was mentioned, I think a portion may be used for like access, but I don't believe any of the building will be located on it because it is pretty close to the wetlands in the back.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll hear any testimony from the opponents. 5 minutes to speak if there's any. Seeing none, this portion of the hearing is now closed. We will move to deliberations or debate among the council. Is there any questions, Councilor Ramos, or comments?
Thank you, Madam President. Just want to give a huge compliment to these gentlemen for their very well put together presentation. This is a project that is in my district and right around the corner from my house. I spoke to several neighbors who have been approached by these gentlemen, informing them of this project. They've approached business owners that are abutters, and they've listened. Right, they've listened to their concerns. They listened to the council's concerns at the last meeting, in which we brought up the need and importance of hiring local and hiring minority contractors for this project. And this is the way that I wish everybody would present to the council, right? Because this is how you're supposed to do it. So I just want to compliment them both on this presentation, and welcome to the city of Springfield.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Ramos. Any other questions, comments, concerns from the council? Seeing none, I'm going to ask for a motion to be made to invoke Rule 22C and take second and third step together.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. Second? Second by Councilor Gomez. Motion made by Councilor Hurst, seconded by Councilor Gomez. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On invoking Rule 22C, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila. You're muted. Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams, absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes. Counselor
Yes.
Fenton, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. Phil, it's not going to impact my vote on the zone change, but it looks like on the GIS that Wollaston Street continues all the way to Boston Road, at least as a paper street. And so maybe as a follow-up item to this afterwards, we should really be discontinuing that, particularly because it's paved and already being used for the parking lot for the gentleman that's requesting the zone change.
I did look at I don't believe their site plan includes Wollaston Street. So I did look at that when I reviewed their original site plan. I'll double check that. Again, this whole development is still going through a planning board site plan review. So I'll look closer on that. But I do believe that at least the building did not encroach onto that Wollaston Street area, although it looks like it may be paved, but I don't believe the plan incorporated that.
All right.
That's my understanding as well of the plan. We have to confirm with our civil, but that's my understanding. That Ghost Road was taken into account by the surveyor for the property meets and bounds, but we do not have any part of our property of our project on that.
Well, you're already parking on it, at least according to the GIS. So just as a post item for tonight, I think we should follow up with DPW and confirm that, because even if you're not seeking to expand it, the satellite showing that it's half between you and this other property to the west, Jart Realty, both have it paved and cars parked on it. So I'm not sure whether it was ever discontinued or not, but if it wasn't, we should. That's all. Thank you.
I'll double check on that.
Thank you, Counselor Fenton. Just to be clear, Attorney Davis, we already voted on invoking Rule 22C and second and third step, because that's how I read the motion. Is that correct?
No, we only voted on invoking Rule 22C. Now you have to take second and third step. You need a motion and a second.
Okay, may I have a motion to vote on second and third step?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion made by Counselor Allen and a second by Counselor Gomez. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On second and third steps for 1021 Boston Road, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Ramos.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila. Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams, absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes.
The zone change has been approved. Congratulations, Mr. Somers.
Thank you.
On your success. All righty. Madam Clerk, can you please call the next item on the agenda?
Item number 37 is a resolution to support and act to prevent COVID-19 evictions, foreclosures, and promote equitable housing recovery.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak to this resolution? Counselor Letterman.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Members, before you is a resolution in support of statewide legislation titled An Act to Prevent COVID-19 Evictions and Foreclosures and Promote an Equitable Recovery. Members, as we heard during Public Speak Out, we really are facing a looming crisis, and it's a crisis that, if not acted upon, will leave tens of thousands of our neighbors here in the city of Springfield without a home. And it's also one that will threaten to overwhelm the safety net that is currently in place to support individuals who find themselves unhoused. The CDC and CARES Act protections for homeowners and tenants that are currently in place and that are preventing foreclosures and evictions are set to expire on July 31st. And over 18,000 eviction cases have been filed in Massachusetts, including over 1,100 in Springfield specifically. The money is there to prevent these types of evictions and foreclosures. There's $800 million available in the Commonwealth to prevent foreclosures, to make landlords whole, and to clear rental debt. But unfortunately, only 40 million of that has actually been expended so far. And part of the challenge is that all of this happened so quickly that our regional administrative agencies like Wayfinders, who are working so hard, bringing on as many staff as they can, are still facing a backlog to clear everything. We also know that these types of systems can be difficult to interact with, not just for tenants, but also for landlords. And this includes provisions to make that more accessible for landlords to actually be able to be made whole. So what this statewide legislation would do is pause no-fault evictions. So those are evictions that take place without any reason for doing so. It would pause those during the recovery period. It would require that prior to an eviction taking place for non-payment, that access to the assistance funds that are in place, an attempt be made to secure those. It would also streamline that process so that those funds can be easier to secure for landlords and tenants. And it would also ensure that landlords actually do have access to those funds directly so that they can be made whole. Of our state delegation, Senator Gomez is the first co-sponsor in the state Senate, and Representative Williams and Representative Gonzalez are co-sponsors in the House. So I brought this resolution forward in hopes that we can highlight the importance of this for legislators across the Commonwealth. As the third largest city in Massachusetts, I think we absolutely must address the housing inequities that have been laid bare by the COVID-19 pandemic, as opposed to reinforce them. We have a chance to do that if our legislature acts, and I hope that they will do so in a timely manner. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Letterman, for that resolution. I think it's very well needed. I would like to be added as a co-sponsor. Councilor Ramos.
Madam President, thank you. Just for the record, I will be abstaining from this vote due to the fact that I may be voting on the general court. But I just want to compliment Councilor Letterman for putting it together. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Councilor Ramos. Councilor Edwards.
Yes, Madam President, may I be added as a co-sponsor as well?
Absolutely. Madam Clerk, are you taking the names?
Yeah.
Okay. Councilor Morrow.
I also would like to be added as co-sponsor, and I want to commend my colleague, Councilman Letterman, on all this effort during this time of COVID. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor Brown. Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Clerk, please add me as a co-sponsor to this ordinance. Excuse me, to this resolution.
Absolutely. Do all councilors want to be added as sponsors? If you could just give a quick hand raise.
Yes.
You could still say something if you'd like, but just raise your hand really quickly. All right, we're gonna go with adding everybody to the resolution. Thank you, Councilor Letterman, for your hard work. And I think Councilor Allen was next in the queue to speak.
That was just to support.
To support, okay.
All
All right, if you're just wanting to support and you know how to lower your hand, please do so. Councilor Brown, was that, okay, all right. So I think we got everybody. Councilor Gomez, I just wanted to make sure you didn't want to speak because you used the clap instead of the raise hand.
Well, that's all I can do here in this computer.
I'm just checking on you.
I can get the hand out.
Yeah, okay, so you just wanted to be added?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So add us all, Madam Clerk, and please call the roll on the resolution.
On the resolution, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Kern.
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Ramos abstain. Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila. Counselor Davila.
Yes, I've been muting all night. Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams absent. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes, the
Yes.
resolution has been approved. Great job, Council Letterman. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, Madam Clerk.
The next item is going to be taken under suspension. It is to amend the existing special permit, which is a drive-up service rental at 809 Boston Road.
Okay. So for the special permit, I think we're gonna follow the same procedures that we follow for the zone changes. Did we receive any testimony, written testimony or voice testimony from the proponent?
We have not.
Any from the opponent?
No.
Is there anyone from the proponent to speak on the special permit for 5 minutes?
Yes,
Yes,
right
Jim
here.
Cranston.
Good evening, Jim Cranston with Bowler Engineering. Good evening. City councilors, with me this evening is Allison Brickett from McDonald's. Also, the operator, the franchisee for the store, I think has been trying to call in. I don't know if he's in a waiting room where someone needs to let him in. If someone could just take a look at that, that would be helpful. He's critical for, I think, this evening's meeting.
I don't see him in the waiting room. Is he a 978 number?
I personally don't have his phone number, so I don't know if that's him.
Well, there is a 978 number, 790-8443. Can you please identify yourself? If you want to unmute, you what is it? *6, #6, one of those.
All right, well, I'll continue. I can give you an update on where we're at and we'll go from there. So the last time we were before you, the abutter who wrote a letter with various complaints relative to the facility, we got her to attend the meeting. We heard her concerns, and really the way the council left it was the operator would need to work with her offline to basically satisfy all of the issues and concerns that she had with the site. The operator has reached out via email to Ms. Headley with no responses. There was then a letter that was written by the operator and sent to the abutter, Ms. Headley. A copy of said letter was provided to Philip Dromey and I believe to some of the counselors or the city clerk's office. The franchisee then actually received a phone call from Jason O'Sullivan, who resides with Miss Headley, because he knows we've been trying to get in touch with her. He was surprised to hear that we were still proceeding forward with the project. We then expressed our concerns of wanting to get in touch with Miss Headley, and unfortunately, the operator has not had any success in connecting with her. So, not sure. I've never had this predicament before, where the operator's looking to move forward, wants to satisfy her, her concerns, and I know that that's where the council wants this to go. But given those circumstances, I'm not really sure what the next steps are, which is why I wanted the operator on this evening's call.
Thank you, Mr. Cranston. Are there any questions or comments from the council? Councilor Ramos?
I'm not sure where this leaves us. Part of the reason why this vote was delayed was because we wanted to make sure that the issue with the abutter was resolved. Phil, do you have anything to add in terms of where we are at in terms of, whether or not these concerns have been addressed?
Yeah, unfortunately, I've kind of deferred to the petitioner to try and resolve that. And speaking with Jim directly, he indicated to me the same issues he outlined tonight, that they've made attempts to contact the abutter, but have not been successful. So I'm not exactly sure where this puts us.
Did you have any further comments, Councilor Ramos?
Yeah, I don't remember if we ever ran into this. I don't know if I've run into this issue, before, when we have someone who had so many concerns and was so very vocal about these concerns. And, we've done everything that we can as a legislative body to give time to both the petitioner and the abutters to resolve this issue. And unfortunately, it doesn't sound like it, that we have an outcome. I don't know, Madam President. I appreciate the petitioner doing everything that they can. They can only do so much. And it sounds like they've done everything that they can to address it. So I don't think that there's anything else that they can do. It's just disappointing that this project unfortunately has been delayed by quite some time because of the concerns of the abutter, and unfortunately the abutter doesn't respond to the request. It's just unfortunate, Madam President. Thank you.
Yeah, it is. Thank you for your comments, Councilor Ramos. Councilor Davila?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Quick question, Jim. When you say the operator, you mean McDonald's?
So this store is run by a franchisee. George Gomez is the franchisee. He is the person, responsible for operating and maintaining the facility. And he was the individual that actually wrote the letter that I sent a copy to the city clerk's office for.
Okay, did we get? Can you tell me about that letter? Because I don't recall seeing any letter.
Sure. I can even share the letter if you guys want to see it on the screen.
Is that a letter that you wrote to the concerned citizen?
This was a letter that was written to the abutter.
The abutter. Madam Chair, if you could, is that possible that you could share? Because
Yeah, I don't mind if it's going to be quick.
It's quick. It's
alrighty.
quick.
Yeah, quick read.
So the letter's on the screen. It's actually written by a gentleman who works for George Gomez. He was on the city council call the last time we attended. But it's basically, understanding she has comments and concerns, leaving her with his name and 2 different phone numbers to reach out. And again, no responses. I know that we did obtain the email address for Ms. Healy from the clerk's office, and they did try out emailing her several times with no response. Here's a literal paper trail that we wanted to also have, just to show that we're, putting our best foot forward in an attempt to work with her.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. I'm sorry. Councilor Edwards?
Yes, if I remember correctly, there was a sense of frustration by the abutter with communicating from the past before the application for a special permit. Can the applicant state, because she spoke very clearly about many of her concerns. I apologize if I can't quote them verbatim, but she did speak about several concerns. Without, the only thing that I've heard from you tonight is that you've made outreach to have a discussion, but the concerns that she raised, have any of those that were spoken of when she was in attendance been addressed?
So some of them, I do recall some of them. We did address one of them at the last meeting. I guess there were some concerns of sewage flow or flooding of the sewer out in her street, resulting from the McDonald's, which allegedly was related to the grease trap. We did obtain grease trap inspection and pumping records, and we provided copies of those records to the city a couple months ago. So not sure where that comment is stemming from. I know that there was some concerns with trash that was blowing into the street in front of her house. I know that the operator then talked about the policing the site, walking the site once a day at a minimum to police it for trash. So that is an ongoing operation. I know that there was concerns about trash being blown under the fence. I'm pretty certain he would have addressed that if he knew that his landscapers were blowing leaves and going under the fence. And if it's not addressed, we can easily fix any gaps under the fence. But I do know that the fence is in working condition. I've seen photos of the fence. She also had concerns about loitering late night hours, which I'm not sure what they can do to control it, but obviously if people are making a lot of noise, the operator is at least aware of that concern. I know that the other concern was additional traffic or additional noise coming from the site. And I will assure you that this new layout is actually further from her property, not closer. So if anything, it's going to be less of an impact because of where the ordering equipment will be located. So, and that's a fact just in looking at the plan itself.
Any other questions, Councilor Edwards, or concerns, comments?
No, my concern, I just have to vote.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I think we're at the, Councilor Hurst.
I'm sorry, I'll wait for you to finish with the proponents and the opponents.
Okay. So do we have any comments from the opponents? 5 minutes from the opponents. Seeing none, we can now close this hearing, and Councilor Hurst, I'll allow you to make the first comment.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, I didn't hear much about the noise, other than it might be a few feet further from the petition, from the opponent's house. Is there anything else that you've done at any of your other facilities to possibly combat the noise that was going to her property? She did send a video that I watched, and the noise was loud. The noise was, it was pretty significant. It certainly was a nuisance. And so I don't know if you guys put any other thought into it other than just what you had already planned to do with the driveway in terms of reducing the noise.
I do recall the video. We have not received a copy. I think we asked for a copy. I guess it was the noise from the speaker, or was it from customers at the drive-through?
It sounded to me like both, but definitely from the customers at the drive-through. And I don't know what you do at your other sites, and I also don't know whether they're as close as they are to this opponent's site. But I would hate to be her. I know that.
Sure. So, relative to the actual technology, the new speakers and equipment, it does have like an ambient sound level system where if the ambient sound is lower, the volumes will be lower. So that's definitely better technology. If there's the opportunity to add some evergreen plantings in front of the fence for some additional sound mitigation, I don't think that's a concern. I think that's something we could do on that side of the site. I know that there's a little bit of an area there to plant. So something we can do if needed.
Councilor Hurst, were you?
Yes, for now.
Okay, so I just wanted to let you all know in my study, you're supposed to answer all your questions when the hearings are open. You're supposed to ask all your questions then, and then when the hearings close, you deliberate with each other. And so I just wanted to bring that out, although I'm just going to allow questions if people want, but that's how it's supposed to work. Councilor Fenton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is the hearing closed?
Yes, but I'm gonna allow questions if you want to ask a question.
Okay, well, thank you. I didn't realize it was closing. I would have raised sooner. Thank you. So my first question is just about where has this been? Because we we met on this many months ago, and it hasn't appeared on our agenda in quite some time. And I don't know if the petitioner has any insight to that. I heard the background that they provided, but one concern I have is that notices at this point were mailed out several months ago to abutters, and I don't know how they would have been aware of tonight's meeting for this particular petition, given that there's been so many meetings since we last met and discussed this where there wasn't presentations from the applicant. So where has this been for all the months since we last heard it?
Can I speak? So we were trying to, resolve all of these items that were raised by Ms. Headley in her initial letter, and then at the first meeting. She was the only abutter that was there and spoke relative to this project. And I think it's clear that with us trying to talk to her about this project and resolve these matters in multiple ways, I think that would be the only abutter that would be showing up if it was renoticed. So I'm not, again, it is a delay. We obviously did not want it to drag on this long. But we have been in touch with the planning office and the city clerk's office on a regular basis as to if we need to be continued or not. So that's our feedback on that.
Okay. And the plan that I'm looking at on our agenda is not nearly as legible as the one that was reviewed before when we were screen sharing on this issue back in March. And so my questions relate to what the nature of the proposed fencing is, what the landscaping plan is, what specific lighting fixtures will be used, and whether they're dark sky compliant, all things that would be beneficial for us to know given the sensitivity for the people on this particular abutter on Etna Court. So the fence, the landscaping, the lighting.
Okay, sure. So the fencing, the project is not having any impact on the fencing itself. The fence is in good condition. There are not any broken pieces. We made sure of that and confirmed that with the operator. Relative to the site lighting, we are not proposing any upgrades to the lighting, and the project will not increase any trespass beyond the property. Relative to landscaping, there are going to be some small shrubs that can be planted within the landscape island where the drive-through equipment is, but it's fairly minimal. We are increasing the amount of green space based on these changes, but there would just be small ornamental plantings due to the drive-through equipment and the menu boards, which would need to be visible for the customers.
Madam President, given the sensitivity to light and sound for the abutters on Etna Court, I'm taking a look at this stockade, this unpainted wooden stockade fence that looks to be decades old. It may not be breached, but it certainly could stand an upgrade, particularly with the investments that are happening at the site. So I would, at the appropriate time, make an amendment that we require the installation of a 6-foot tall vinyl fence for the entirety of the property boundary, with the exception of the frontage on Boston Road, and then specifically that not less than 6-foot tall arborvitae be planted with appropriate spacing along the property boundary that abuts along Etna Court.
Absolutely. You could write that out in the chat. No. Yes, at the appropriate time. Definitely.
Yeah. All right. In the chat.
Thank you. Councilor Ramos.
Thank you, Madam President. Typically one of the reasons why we would want to hear from the abutters, from any opposition, is because that will help us not only determine which way to vote, but also it will help us determine what sort of conditions are needed in order to address these concerns. And so, Phil, I'm going through the conditions now, and I'm wondering if there are any additional conditions that you would recommend in order to address some of the concerns that were brought up in earlier meetings, in addition to these 18 conditions that are in our agenda.
Well, I mean, you certainly could, and I'm trying to look at my agenda now. I would certainly, if there's not a condition about the noise level of the ability that it shall not be audible from the residential abutters, the drive-through operation shall not be audible from the residential abutters is certainly a condition that can be added. That seems to be one of the major concerns, and certainly, if you want to add conditions about, it sounds to me like they're walking the site once a day. If that's not doing the trick, then they should be required to walk the site more than once in order to make sure that trash is being picked up. Those were really kind of the two that I think kind of stand out.
Okay. Now, the first one, in terms of the noise, is that typical? Is that something that we've put in?
Yeah, I mean, I've added that to other drive-throughs that are abutting residential, especially new drive-throughs. This is an existing one, so it's a little different, but in areas where new drive-throughs are being proposed that abut residential districts, that is kind of a standard condition that I've added. Again, I probably just overlooked that due to the fact that this is an existing one, but I don't see a reason why it couldn't be added to this.
Okay. Now, Madam President, is it okay if I ask of the petitioner what that would mean for his business and whether or not that would be something that's
Sure.
needed?
Allison, can you unmute yourself, Allison? I just want to make sure that, obviously at ground level, that shouldn't be a concern because we have fencing and we're going to have landscaping. Sound does travel upward and beyond. So I'm not sure how many levels that houses, but this is an existing use. And again, I know that the equipment will be further from where it is now compared to that property with better technology. Whether or not it will produce zero sound, I don't know that. I'm not a sound consultant or sound expert. Again, at ground level, it's going to be mitigated. But if you have a second story where you can see line of sight to a menu board and there's no ambient sound, you might hear it. I don't know.
Thank you. Councilor Ramos, any other comment there?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that answers my question. I mean, I don't want to overburden business in any way, and I don't want to do something that is outside of the realm of what we've done for other properties that have this sorts of business. However, if this is something that we have put into other special permits, and I imagine we've done it for other McDonald's in the city, I'm just wondering if this is something that can be accommodated. Will you make an effort to accommodate these conditions if included in your special permit?
All right, a second Franklin County community is under a state of emergency this evening.
Yeah, I think it's something we can pursue, because I do know that special permit criteria, do talk about sound and traffic. So obviously it's something that has to be mitigated.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Ramos. Councilor Letterman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm fairly confident that every drive-through permit that I've voted on since joining the council has included a provision in the requirements that it not be audible from the surrounding residents. So I'm sure that this has that on there. If it doesn't, it should. And if it's audible, it has to be turned down and more mitigation efforts have to be made, or else the special permit, will be revoked. So Phil, does this special permit include the provision that the noise not be audible from the surrounding residences, and it should include all stories of the home. We've never said only from the first story.
Well, I've never made that distinction either, but I don't believe the original special permit, which was issued back in 2007, has that condition on it.
Okay, so maybe we
Just
weren't
looking
doing
at it quickly, I don't see that condition on the original special
This is
permit.
an expansion, and so at this time, we would want to make sure that this included that. I mean, I've seen it on. I mean, everyone that I've voted on has included that, and I've been here.
Yeah, again, I would tend to agree that it's kind of a standard condition. Again, this was an existing site versus a new drive-through, so it just been an oversight on my part.
Sure. Okay. So at the appropriate time, we'll make sure that that condition exists.
Thank you, Councilor Letterman. Any other debate from the council? Councilor Hurst.
I actually, at the appropriate time, Madam Chair, would like to continue this item. I think there are a couple different things at play here that, I think Councilor Letterman, Councilor Ramos, and Councilor Fenton have pointed out. I think the biggest issue that I have is that if we approve this today, the likelihood is high that the opponent who had the biggest issues are not going to be able to get in touch with the operator, very similar to how they weren't before. The other issue that I have is that I'd love to, one, have a little bit more outreach, considering that, the way that we've sort of done hearings, it's difficult if you're the opponent to sort of follow the time frame. And so I'd like to give her another 30 days. I think we have a hearings meeting. If it's not an unreasonable burden to the petitioner, to give her one more opportunity to show up, because I also would like to get her perspective on the conditions that we're getting ready to put in place. And then on top of that, that would give the petitioner some time to really think through, what are some of the additional things that he can do to deal with the noise or to deal with the landscaping, and then really come to us with a real thorough proposal to present to us at our next hearings meeting. Thank you. So at the appropriate time, I'd like to make a motion to continue this one more month. And if she doesn't show, then we just vote accordingly. And I will, at that point in time, I think it's probably necessary that, we probably take a vote on it, but I'd give her another opportunity.
Thank you. I just want some guidance from Attorney Davis, because I did close the hearing. Do I reopen the hearing? I don't know. Can you just give some guidance, Attorney Davis?
No, you don't have to reopen the hearing, Counselor.
So we'll just continue it and it'll go to a committee and then it'll be back?
It'll be continued to another meeting. It can't go to committee.
Okay. Just to give the proponents opportunity to reach out to the community.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt, Madam
Yep.
President. I just want to, and I defer to Attorney Davis on this. I do think for the continuance, the petitioner is going to have to be in concurrence with that, because this special permit is way over the 90-day time limit. So I believe if the petitioner wants it voted on tonight, I don't believe the city council can continue it. But again, I defer to the attorney. I just want to make sure that this, technically after 90 days, if it's not acted on, it's automatically approved. But since it's been continued by the petitioner for these past few months, then that rule doesn't apply. I just want to make sure that this doesn't get automatically approved.
And I also wanted to just say that, to me, that goes along with what Councilor Fenton said. Where has it been? We haven't seen it on the agenda to bring it to the forefront of our, brains. So.
Just a point of clarification, Madam Chair. When does the 90 days start? And so I know Councilor Davila, you have your hand up, but I could have swore I heard Councilor Fenton at our last meeting say that the 90 days wouldn't start just yet for a different hearing item. But Councilor Fenton, if you could just provide some clarification as to when that 90 days starts.
It starts when we close the hearing.
So the hearing is just closed now, right? So we got 90 days from now, because I just closed the hearing.
Well, but it sounds to me like you're keeping it open because we're gonna have
Well,
another meeting and have some
I
more
don't
testimony.
know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you can, as long as it's reasonable, and this has been reasonable because there's been due diligence that's going on in the background, you can keep the hearing open, and then when you close it, you have 90 days from then to render the decision. That's what it is.
From the closing. Okay.
Sometimes hearings are left open for 6 months, a year.
Okay. Council Davila, we'll hear from you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just gonna make a suggestion to the proponent. I understand that you showed us the letter attempting to contact them, but I will strongly suggest that any correspondence, if you haven't done so yet, that it's certified mail, so at least we got something to see that, there's proof that we can see that the attempt was made, not to insinuate that you didn't try, but that we can have real proof, tangible proof in your hands that the attempt was made. So if you could, any correspondence, if you could send it certified to the resident and provide us, if they don't show up in the next meeting, provide us with that. I think it will at least will make me a little easier to vote. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Understood.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Edwards.
Just to build off on Councilor Davila's suggestion, part of the problem with this applicant is the fact that the abutters who were next door were not able to communicate with them with past complaints. So we're talking, the suggestion is they need to send a registered letter. They need to walk over next door and knock on her door and talk to her and whoever else lives there face to face and have a conversation. Now, how they document that and report that back to the council is on them. But the problem, as it was reported before, was they are neighbors. They abut one another, and we're having a conversation about sending a letter. And it's not like they have to reach out to 5, 6, or 30 different neighbors in the area to have a conversation. This woman who bought a home is not a business. She owns a home next to a McDonald's. One of my colleagues knows today I was complaining about the McDonald's in the South End. And so we all who have lived in the city know about the trash that McDonald's can create, the traffic, and some of the other concerns when they operate. Here is the abutter, whether she's here or not, did give testimony of what she has to live with and deal with. And now we're having a conversation about whether McDonald's Corporation can walk next door and knock on their neighbor's door. So
I think they did try that route as well, but again, I wasn't there, but I wish the operator made tonight's meeting. That would have been helpful.
Thank you, Councilor Edwards, Councilor Ramos, and then we're going to move forward with the next steps.
Just a quick question for Phil. At the last meeting when we heard this petition, I requested and we requested of the code enforcement department that they do a review, an inspection of the property to see whether or not they were in violation of their current special permit. And I know that they did that inspection, but we haven't heard back from them. Have you heard back as to whether or not there were any violations at the property?
I have not. I can certainly check, but I have not heard directly from Mike or Keith.
So my original thought, Madam President, is I would not want to delay this project any further. I know that it's been delayed enough. Several months since we received these complaints. And I would hate to delay this project any further because I know that the business wants to move forward with their proposal and they want to improve their location. And this is in my district, and I go by this property all the time, and I would love to see the improvements there as well. But I just think that there are so many unanswered questions at this point. I originally did not want to support a motion to continue. But it would be great if we can get an answer from code enforcement as to whether or not there were any violations of this property. Perhaps give the abutters one more opportunity. And to be fair, this was put on our agenda under suspension. So, there wasn't much opportunity to, when something is added under suspension, it means it wasn't added to the original agenda, and it was added within before within the 48-hour time period that it had to be to give notifications to the public. So because of all those reasons, I just again, I'm sorry to have to delay this any further, but I think at this point we should move forward with continuing this to another meeting and get all the answers that we need, all the questions that we need answers to. But let's not forget about the proposed or recommended amendments.
Sure.
Madam President. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Cranston, at this time, because I think that the council is going towards continuing the item, we're going to move forward with the meeting, and I'm going to ask Councilor Fenton to make his motion to amend the petition.
Thank you, Madam President. I make a motion, and before just to say on this motion, I'm going to support the motion to continue. Just because I wrote it, I would prefer to act on it, and then maybe we can deliberate it on the next meeting, so I don't have to remember a month from now where we were. So
Okay.
that's why I still would like to vote on it. Thank you.
Sure.
My motion is to add conditions to the special permit. 1, that a 6-foot-tall vinyl fence be installed along the entire perimeter of the property with the exception of frontage on Boston Road. And 2, that arborvitae not less than 6 feet tall be installed along the entire perimeter of the property where the property abuts residential zoning districts, including Etna Court, and that said arborvitae be spaced not more than 4 feet apart.
Second the motion.
So motion made by Councilor Fenton, seconded by Councilor Edwards. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the motion, Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Gomez?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Kern?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Williams, absent. Councilor Whitfield?
Yes, the
Yes.
motion has been approved. Councilor Letterman, I wanted to ask if you wanted to add a noise type of motion that you mentioned. Well, we could wait till next meeting. Councilor Fenton?
Ideally, Madam President, that the applicant would perform a noise study based on the current drive-through ambient sound and report back to us on the results of that certified noise study at the next meeting.
Okay.
I'd like to see that due diligence.
Okay, all right. So did you hear that, Mr. Cranston? A noise study is what Councilor Fenton is asking for. Councilor
What would-
Ramos, I'm sorry.
I guess we just need to understand what the parameters are and for, where are we studying?
Specifically, I want to know what is audible from the drive-through microphone at its current operable levels from Etna Court and any other abutting residentially zoned property. And if you can't get access to those properties because they're private property, then just do the test from the right of way.
Okay, and who can I reach out to? I'm sure we're gonna have further questions as we get the scope pulled together. Who can I reach out to directly to make sure we're doing everything that you're looking for?
Phil Dromey.
Okay.
Thank you. Councilor Ramos.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion for an amendment related to the noise. I think that because it's been a sort of uniform language that we use across the board for all drive-throughs, I would ask Phil Dromey to restate what that exact language is. And I'd like to make a motion to include that language in this special permit.
Sure. Phil?
If we could wait till the next meeting, I can review. I don't have that exact language right in front of me, so I would have to look back at a previous special permit. I think it's simply that the noise from the drive-through shall not be audible from the residential abutters, but I don't have that exact language in front of me right.
Is that okay, Councilor Ramos?
That's fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then we have a motion to continue by Councilor Hurst. Councilor Hurst, did you want to?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just before I make that motion, if I could just make the point to Mr. Cranston that it would be extremely helpful to also for our next meeting have the operator here. I think the operator is really the individual that we probably should be talking to when it comes to maintaining the property and making the changes that we want to see made. So we could just make it a point to notify him and let him know that we'd like to have him here as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. With that said, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to continue this item until the next hearings meeting.
Second.
Thank you. Motion made by Councilor Hurst to continue the item, seconded by Councilor Edwards. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
On the motion to continue, Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Gomez?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Kern?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown? Absent Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Williams, absent. Councilor Whitfield?
Yes. The motion to continue has been approved. Madam Clerk, is there any more business before the council?
No, there's not.
The meeting is adjourned.
Well done. Well done, Madam
Great
Chair.
job, Councilor
Great
Whitfield.
job. Great
Thank you.
job.
Thank you.
Good job, Tracy.
Thank you. Have a good night, everybody. I appreciate your patience in helping me through this process.
Did a great
Good
job.
night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.